Hello, how is everybody? Everybody doing okay? Okay. I was going to kind of start tonight and tell y'all that I had, hold on just a minute, that I had a little story I was going to tell you, just real quick. I was going to tell you about my first airplane ride. I had never told this story. But anyway, I was probably 45 years old, I guess, because I'm 68 now. So probably 40. And my friend said, you want to fly to Houston? And we're in Dallas. And I said, I don't know. It's a 45-minute flight. I don't like flying. Never been flown, but I, don't like it. So anyway, I said, okay, I'll go with you. So we get in line, and we're standing in line, and all of a sudden, my bra strap breaks. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she said, my friend said, okay, I'm going to run over here and see if I can find you a safety pin, and I'll be right back. And I said, okay. So she did, and she fixed it. So now we're in line to get seated. We've got our, what do you call it? Not your ticket, yeah, I guess that's what you call it. I don't know, whatever you call your boarding pass, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, I've only done it once. So we get on the airplane, and we get our seats, and we're kind of like over the wings, kind of, sort of. And they had 3 seats. We were on Southwest. There was 3 seats. And so she said, here, sit by the window. You've never been. No, I'm not sitting by the window. So I didn't sit by the window. I sat in the middle. This guy sat down next to me. And he said, anyway, he was asking me different questions. And I said, no, I've never flown. And he was a scout for college football. And he had been in Dallas looking at whatever they do. And I just know it has something to do with football. Anyway, long story short. So I'm making this real quick. So anyway, we're on the plane. And mind you, it's a 45-minute flight. Right as we all get boarded, they came on and said the windshield was cracked. Okay, but that's not what you say when you've got a nervous nanny sitting back there, and that's me. And so I looked at Paula, and I said, no, now what? She said, well, you just sit here. They'll fix it, and then we'll take off. And I said, well, how are we going to know it's going to be okay? She said, they're not going to take off unless it's safe. And I said, okay. Well, Paula's my friend I can go places with stress and anxiety, because she's good. Anyway, long story short, they fixed the thing, and we start flying. And I was sitting in the middle. Well, I turned everybody's air vents on me. I took this guy's, I took hers and mine, and I just put them all on me because I was nerves, I'm sure. So we continue, and this guy's sitting next to me over here. By this time, he has already found out my whole story, my life story, and he just wouldn't stop. But I think he was trying to get me to be not so nervous, I think. But anyway, he said, you know how they put the brakes on before they start descending? I guess that's right. I've only done it one time, so bear with me. And so they were going down. And so I said, oh my gosh. And he said, put your seatbelt on. I said, it hadn't come off. He said, oh my gosh. And he started laughing. And I had my hands on each side of the seat, on the sides of me. And he said, well, we've got a ball game tomorrow down here in Houston. And he said, if you want to come, he said, here, I'm going to give you a pass. You just put this around your neck and you just come down on the field. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So I guess I just got asked out, right? So anyway, I said, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to make that, because we were going to go to the prison rodeo in Huntsville. And I don't know if they still do that, but back in the day they did. And so we went, and anyway, so when they started descending, and Paula was telling me to look out the window, and the pilot came on and said, look out the window, you'll see Astroworld and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to land in whatever, 3 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, please. So the guy said, just make sure your seatbelt is on tight, because the worst part of your airplane ride is taking off and landing. I said, well, the takeoff wasn't bad at all. He said, well, we got lucky. I said, oh, okay. So he said, so just make sure that, you know, your seatbelt's on real good. And I was like, okay. I said, it is. I said, I'm good. And he said, okay, so the brakes started going again, and I held onto the seat, and he said, the engine just fell off on this side over here. And he said, but we'll be okay because we're almost on the ground. And he said, just make sure that seatbelt, he said, because when we land, your head will hit the top of the airplane. I thought, Lord, that scared me. So Paula just looked at me and she was laughing. And I said, what are you laughing at? And she said, nothing, Shirley. She said, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I said, okay. So, well, I wasn't fine. So anyway, we landed and it was just, psh, psh, I mean, smooth as glass. I said, well, when does the bumpy part come? He said, well, we got lucky. He knew what he was doing. And I said, well, I think every commercial pilot knows what they're doing. They should know how to land one of these things. I said, that's what they do. And so he said, well, no, most of them are just bumpy. So I said, okay. We had a basketball team on the airplane, and you know they're like all 6'5" and taller. They're just tall guys. Well, we were sitting up at the front, and this guy stood up and put his arms up, and he said, we've got a nervous person up here. He said, y'all just stop and let this lady off. Just let her off before we lose. So that's the way. That was my first plane ride, and I'll never get back on another one. So anyway, so I got, I found out at the takeoff I didn't like floating in the air. No, I asked Paula, I said, where are we? And she said, well, I don't know where we are. We're between Dallas and Houston. And I said, but I don't feel anything. She said, well, you're not going to feel anything, Shirley. We're floating. Well, that kind of wiggled my brain a little bit. Evidently, I don't like the idea of floating up in the air, okay? So, anyway, that was my story, and that's what happened with me on my first plane ride. And it was enough that I never went back. So, and then I didn't show up to the ball game either. I mean, I was like, well, I was married, and I didn't think I ought to go, so I didn't. And but he gave me a pass to wear around my neck and tickets. I mean, you know, just everything I needed to get in the gate and get there and park. And anyway, but kind of bold. But anyway, so that was my trip on an airplane. I made it safe, and my friend was with me, and I had a crazy man on the other side of me. But I think really what he was trying to do is just make my ride maybe a little, what do you call it, a little easier maybe. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it was. But I'm going to assume that's what it was. But anyway, that was my story. So that was a short one. But anyway, that's where we were. And then the other thing I was going to talk about just real quick, I was kind of wanting to do a Q&A. Okay, let me tell y'all something. Okay, if you come back and you rewatch this, I'm going to ask one thing of you. Okay, that's all. If you can't be here during the live while I'm doing this is what's going to help me. Would you please, and I mean, I hate to even ask people to do this because I've got so many people following me and I've just got a lot, but I need this little window over here a little bit more. That's what I need. And, and it's the follow button. Click. That's all you gotta do is just follow. And if you can say, hi, how are you? If you can say, my name is Deborah, or my name is Doug, whatever, and just let me hit like when it comes back. That is all I need you to do. That's all. And then if you don't want to follow me, I guess you could come back and hit it again and it'll unfollow me. But right now, that's just really something I need, and I need it tonight. Tonight is the night because everything goes back live tomorrow night at 6:17 or 6:27. I don't know. Evidently, my jail sentence is going to be lifted, and I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back doing what I do. And so anyway, with just one more little thing, I may have to do a Q&A tomorrow night when we go live, and maybe I can do that then. But the other thing that I want to do is let's see, wait a minute, what was I? Oh, so, you know, I want to tell people, oh, just if you're listening, just on the quick side of this, on the top, so you don't have to listen to, but if you don't know my journey and you're just now here, I'm going to tell you real small what I'm doing here. I am 68 years old. I've lost 100 pounds on Weight Watchers with no medications. So if they tell you you can't lose weight at 68, you can lose weight at 68. A lot of people have medications they take that really does cause a problem. I'm talking about, I was not on any medicines at that point. I was pre-diabetic. I was headed that way, but I stopped it. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm talking about on our daily things, the stress, the fatigue, the fear and the anxiety of everything you go through, because it's a whole process. It's not just I wake up tomorrow and start losing weight. That's not the way it works. And the accountability, I want to be here for people's accountability. And that's what my page is. Now, we are going to have a few days, a couple of days a week that we're not going to be talking about some of this. We're going to talk about lighter things, such as happier things those couple of days, because, you know, we work hard during the week and you learn so many different things, like how many types of loneliness there is. And it's so sad. It's so, so sad, but it's true and it's in our world. It's always probably been in our world, but anyway, that's what I'm doing now. So anyway, that is what my page is. And I'd love for you just to follow me. And I would just love for you to follow me and like and comment and share. I'm not supposed to say those words, but I'm just going to ask one time. But anyway, that's what, and I don't like to be a beggar either. But anyway, so things are going really good on my page. Once I get out of Facebook jail, I can pick up where I left off, and I can help with engagement and stuff that way. But every time y'all comment something, or you like something or something like that, if you ask me, just if you can just say hi or ask me a question or tell me where you're from, just tell me where you're from. That would be sufficient, totally. And I'm from Texas, and you can probably tell that by the way I talk. But I'm from Texas, and I was in the medical field for over 40 years. And everything I do here is my journey. No medical advice. None. I just tell you my journey, and maybe something that I went through might help you. All right, might help you figure out what you need to do for you. And that's what I'm going to be here for. And anything that you have medically or psychological, if you have something you need help with, you know what, depression, anxiety, what, if you need some help, call your doctor, go to the hospital, figure out where you need to go, and go get the help you need. That's what you need to do for yourself, okay? Where I'm concerned, we're going to do this during the week, and we're going to talk about different things, and we're going to find different strategies. I'm going to tell you what worked for me. I want to listen to what has worked for y'all, or what you're going through now. And it's all going to come together. I promise it's all going to come together. And I'm feeling better today because I've never been in trouble. And I got put in Facebook jail, and I didn't like it. I don't like it at all. And it wasn't anything I did. They thought I was a robot because my page filled up so fast. It doesn't normally do that. So they thought I was a robot. So once they learned I wasn't a robot, they told me that's all they needed to know, is to know I was human. And they said that everything would be restored back. It was solved on February 22nd, but they could not release it until March the 1st. And that's tomorrow at either 6:17 or 6:27 p.m. And I'll be back on live tomorrow night to do what I normally do. So that is what my page is about. If you come on here, I just want people to know I'm real. I'm a very simple person. I have a big heart. And anything I can do to help, I want to try to help with some, people. It's what I did for a living. And now I don't work, and I'm 68, and this is what I'm going to do. And when I lost my weight, I thought, you know what, maybe I could just say one or two things to somebody, and they might, it might help them. So that's where I am. That's what I'm doing. And during the week, we talk about these things, and that's what we're doing. So that's just the behind story of what I'm here for. And so I'm hoping that y'all can give me a little bit of, hold on just a minute, somebody just come in. I hope that y'all can give me a little bit of just what I need. Those are just a couple things I need, and everything else is going to be, everything else will be fine. And then after tomorrow, it's all going to be good. So I'm excited about it. And I know a lot of you don't have any of the issues I have or whatever, but it's still nice to have you on my page. And with that being said, like I said, there's going to be, the few days a week we don't talk about some of that stuff because, sometimes our brain just needs to, calm down and just mellow out a little bit and don't stress and worry so much. Of course, that's hard to do sometimes. And, but anyway, that's what I wanted to tell y'all. And we'll see what happens. Hi, Cherie. And we'll see what happens from there. And that's all I know to do. And Cherie, I kind of was telling everybody about kind of what the backstory is here, how I got here. Anyway, so you can just kind of go back and listen to that. And then about my first airplane ride, which wasn't good. So my one and only airplane ride, we'll say that. And then I saw today up in down in East Texas, somebody was in a hot air balloon and they got stuck on an electrical line and they were just hanging. So I hadn't looked to see if they got out of that. But so I don't want to do any hot air balloons, that's for sure. I'm not a daredevil, I guess. I don't know. I think I just value my life a little more. I don't know. But anyway, but all I'm going to ask is for y'all, ask us. Listen to me, I can't even talk. All I'm going to do is ask from y'all. If y'all will just put in, let me make it simple. Just put in there where you're from. Okay, that'll take care of it. And I can comment. I can't comment on it, but I can like it. And that is engagement. And engagement is what I need. So, let's just make it simple. You don't even have to do anything else. Just tell me where you are from. That's simple. And anyway, but anyway, that was what I was going to talk to you about. And I wanted to do a little more. But I think where we are, I don't know. And see, nobody can see. Normally when you see somebody's page, you can see things going up and down. You can't see that on mine. They have not released that part on mine yet. It shows me on this side, but then it just does one at a time, then it'll go away. One at a time, go away. Don't ask me why. But anyway, but that's why they put me in jail. And because my page went, I guess they said it just kind of went, it grew too fast. They said the amount of people that I had took usually 6 months to a year get, and I got in under 30 days. So that just tells me that there's a need for this. We're human, and we all got issues of some sort. And, we all got them. We're human. So anyway, but that's kind of where we are. And so that was my story that I wanted to tell y'all. And most people aren't afraid to do any of that flying stuff. I just, no. So my brother and sister are both moving back. And so they're not going to be far away. My sister's back, so she's like 45 minutes. My brother's going to be about 4 or 5 hours, but that's doable. I can do that. And then my son's about 5 hours away, so well, I can drive that. I don't have to. I only flew to Houston. I mean, my gosh, you'd think I'd have been all right on that one, but it was too much for me. So, so anyway, I didn't ever say I was smart, okay? I just like my feet on the ground, and that's okay. Some people like theirs up there. I like mine down here. So, you know, that's why they have all different flavors, right? And we're fixing to play dominoes tonight. We play dominoes on Saturday night, so we're fixing to do that. And, but anyway, the ones that are on here, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming by. And if y'all could just do those couple of little things for me, I'd appreciate it. And if you just kind of, you know, they can get on to us for saying these words, but kind of like share the video. That goes over well too. And then tomorrow, let me just tell you, I will be off and on through the day because I do everything they tell me I need to do, okay? And that's what I'm doing. So I'll be on sometime tomorrow. I don't know when, but I know I'll be in probably around 10 o'clock maybe. That's probably going to be the first time. And then tomorrow night at 6:17 or 6:27, whenever it is, I'm just going to say 6:30, and that will cover that. At 6:30, I'm going to be on here live. And I hope everybody comes back to join me. We'll be back in line and be back in session and do what we normally do. And I should not still be locked out, okay? Because they're not letting me do anything except like. That's all I can do. So anyway, my granddaughter's here for the night. She came to spend the night. And now she just went and got, my husband went and got her little friend to come spend the rest of the evening with us. So anyway, so she'd have somebody to play with. She's 12 or whatever they do at that age. Whatever. Play on the friends together, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what I want. And if y'all could do that, I'd appreciate it. Cherie, I'm glad you came by too. And so tell Susie I said hi. And anyway, so y'all take care. I'll be back tomorrow. And let's see, what else? I guess that was really all I wanted to tell you. But Cherie, if you go back, and whoever else is on here, so just go back and look, and you'll see at the very first what I was saying, okay? And you may have already heard it, I don't know, but that's the story. And so anyway, I'm going to go do what I got to do. I got to finish cleaning my kitchen so we can play dominoes tonight. And so that's going to be it for tonight, y'all. I'll be back later, though. I'll be back later. But I just want to tell every one of you, thank you. And I appreciate it. You don't know how much. So you don't know. But I'm going to tell you, thank you. So, and anyway, so if y'all have any issues or need anything, some of you know how to get a hold of me. Some of you get me through here. So y'all know where I am. So y'all give me a holler. And if there's something I can do to help you, just let me know, okay? All right. Thank all of y'all very much. Thanks. Bye.